Some people don't need horns or red eyes to be evil. They wear smiles, they tell jokes, they ask about your day, but underneath it all, something feels off, like they enjoy your pain a little too much, like your failures secretly feed them. Here's the truth no one says out loud. Evil isn't always loud. It doesn't scream. It doesn't always hit. Sometimes evil whispers. It manipulates. It smiles while it destroys. And yet society has trained us to give people the benefit of the doubt, to forgive everything, to ignore our gut feeling. Maybe they didn't mean it. Maybe I'm overreacting. But what if you're not? What if the most dangerous people in your life are the ones who hide behind charm, fake vulnerability, and weaponized kindness? That's what this video is about. These aren't just toxic traits. They're twisted signs that reveal someone's deeper nature, especially the kind of people who don't just want attention, they want control. If you've ever been manipulated, gaslit, emotionally drained, or left wondering, was it me? Then you need to see all 6 and stick around for the final one, because it's the one even the smartest people overlook. The one that doesn't just hurt you, it changes who you are. This is Stoic Clarity, and if you're ready to never be manipulated again, hit that subscribe button. Now let's get into it. Sign 1. They ruin good moments because they hate not being the center. You just had a win. Maybe you got the promotion, you were praised in front of others, you looked good, you felt good, you were glowing, and that's when it happened. Suddenly they're upset. Something's wrong. They go quiet. They act distant. Or worse, they start a fight over nothing. It doesn't make sense at first. You think, maybe they're just having a bad day. You try to comfort them. You shrink your joy a little to make space for their mood. But then it happens again and again. Every time you shine, they shadow it. And here's what you eventually realize. They don't hate your success. They hate when your light outshines theirs. Evil people, deeply insecure ones, cannot tolerate not being the center of attention. It threatens their control. It threatens the narrative they've crafted, the one where they're always the one above, guiding, helping, loving you. Your elevation exposes their stagnation. Your confidence highlights their lack of it. Your good moment feels like a loss to them. So they sabotage it, quietly, subtly. They'll bring up their own problems in the middle of your moment. They'll remind you of someone who had it better. They'll pick a fight right before your big day, or they'll sit in silence, offering no support, just cold eyes and a dismissive nod. And the worst part? They'll frame you as the selfish one. They'll say, "It's always about you," or "You don't even care what I'm going through." But that's the manipulation, because this was never about sharing life with you. It was about controlling the spotlight. And when you finally start to rise, when your glow becomes undeniable, when others notice you in ways they never did, they feel invisible, and they'll do anything to dim you, even if it means ruining a moment you waited years for. So remember this: anyone who can't clap for you when you win was never on your team. And if someone's energy consistently shifts the moment you're happy, that's not coincidence. That's their true character showing. The next sign, it reveals how evil people pretend to love your vulnerability, just to use it as a weapon. 2. Manipulation, masked as kindness. Not all evil wears a scowl. Sometimes it smiles. Sometimes it brings you food, calls you sweetheart. And sometimes it even says, "I'm only doing this because I care." But here's the truth. Some of the most manipulative people will disguise control as kindness, especially the ones closest to you. That family member who always offers help, but brings it up every time you disagree with them. That friend who's always there during your weak moments, but guilt trips you when you set a boundary. They use kindness as a collar, wrapping it around your neck and tightening it with every favor, every guilt trip, every emotional debt you didn't ask for. And when you try to break free, when you say, "I don't need that," they get offended. Suddenly you're ungrateful. And they'll say things like, "After everything I've done for you, I was just trying to help." But their help was never free. It came with a leash. And that's the most terrifying part of it, because it didn't feel like abuse. It felt like love until you realized you were suffocating in it. This is how manipulators work, not through open aggression, but through quiet emotional contracts you never agreed to. 3. They twist the truth to benefit their agenda. They remember it differently every time. Not because their memory is bad, but because the truth doesn't serve them. You know what happened. The conversation, the tone, the betrayal, but the moment you bring it up, they rewrite the story. They add details that never existed and erase the ones that do. And what makes it worse, they're so convincing, you start to question your own memory. They're just masters at bending reality, not for the truth, but for control. And it always benefits them. They twist the narrative to make themselves the victim, to make you the villain. And if it's a parent or someone who's supposed to protect you, that's a special kind of pain, because they're not just lying, they're rewriting your story right in front of you and trying to convince you it was never yours to begin with. This kind of betrayal cuts deep, not because it's loud, but because it leaves you silently doubting your own reality. And the scariest part is that they've done it so many times, they actually believe their version is true. Sign 4. They give you backhanded compliments that sting for days. Some people know exactly what to say to ruin your day without ever raising their voice. They won't insult you directly. No, that would make them look cruel. Instead, they'll smile, lean in, and drop a line so subtly venomous you don't even realize you've been cut until you're already bleeding. They say things like, "You're really brave for wearing that outfit. Wow, I didn't think you'd actually pull that off. You look good today. What's different?" On the surface, it sounds like a compliment, but your gut knows better. There's a sharp edge underneath it. A tone that's just a little too forced, a grin that doesn't reach the eyes. And here's the twisted truth. They planned it, they thought about it, they considered what would make you insecure in that exact moment, and then said it with a smile. It's psychological warfare disguised as kindness, because now you're stuck in your head, wondering if they meant it, questioning if you're too sensitive, overanalyzing something they tossed off like a joke. And the worst part? If you bring it up, they'll say, "Wow, I was just trying to be nice." You really can't take a compliment, can you? But let's be clear, this isn't about your sensitivity. This is about calculated emotional sabotage. They don't want you to feel supported. They want you to feel less than. Not obviously, not dramatically. Just enough to keep you unsure of yourself. Just enough to keep them one step above you. This is what makes evil people so dangerous. They don't destroy you all at once. They chip away at your confidence bit by bit, one sugar-coated insult at a time. And if you let it slide, if you laugh along or try to prove them wrong, they know the manipulation is working. So here's your warning. Real people don't use compliments to cut. And if someone's praise always makes you feel smaller, not stronger, you're not crazy. You're being psychologically baited. Stay sharp. The next sign reveals an even more chilling tactic. Sign 5. They laugh when you're hurting and call it a joke. You've probably heard it before. You open up. You share something vulnerable. You mention a past failure, a deep fear, something that actually took courage to say out loud, and they laugh. Not in a warm, awkward way, not in a moment of misunderstanding. No, they laugh like they enjoyed it. Like your weakness was funny to them. And when you react, or when you look shocked or go quiet, they hit you with the classic line, "Relax, I was just kidding." But here's what they don't want you to realize. Jokes aren't just jokes. Jokes are windows into someone's true character. Twisted people use humor as a weapon, because if they wrapped their cruelty in anger, you'd notice. But if they wrap it in a smile, they can get away with it and make you feel like you're the one overreacting. They'll mock your dreams. They'll imitate your voice. They'll bring up your lowest moments in front of others and watch your face fall, all under the illusion of just playing. And the most dangerous part? You'll start to accept it. You'll laugh along to avoid awkwardness. You'll stop speaking up because it's not that deep, but it is. Because every joke like that chips away at your dignity, and every time you let it slide, they learn something. You'll tolerate disrespect as long as it's wrapped in charm. This isn't about having a dark sense of humor or being overly sensitive. It's about patterns. It's about people who constantly disguise cruelty as comedy and use your silence as permission to keep going. If someone only laughs when you're down, if their jokes only come at your expense, if you leave conversations with them feeling smaller, confused, or ashamed, you're not overthinking. Your intuition is screaming. Pay attention to who laughs at you when they should be standing with you, because that's not humor, that's hostility, disguised as playfulness. Comment below if this opened your eyes to something you've experienced, and stay tuned. The next sign is even more twisted. Let's keep going. The final sign. They shared your secrets just to gain the trust of others. You trusted them. Maybe it was your mother. Maybe it was your best friend. Maybe it was the person you loved more than anyone else. And one day, maybe when you were finally brave enough to open up, you told them something fragile, something no one else knew, a childhood wound, a fear, a mistake, a part of you that still trembled when you remembered it. And they nodded, held space, made you believe you were safe. But then, they used it. Not always maliciously, not directly. Sometimes they'd slip it into conversation with others, masked as concern. "She's been through a lot, but that thing she told me, I shouldn't even repeat it, but..." Or they'd share it casually, just to make themselves look important. "Yeah, he told me something no one else knows. He really trusts me." They turned your pain into currency. Not to hurt you outright. That would be too obvious. But to gain intimacy with others. To appear trustworthy, deep, close. They sold your trust to buy someone else's. That's the part that stings the most. It wasn't just betrayal, it was betrayal dressed up as connection. And when you confronted them, they acted confused, said it wasn't a big deal. "I only told one person. I didn't think you'd mind. I was just worried about you." But you weren't crazy for feeling violated, because that secret didn't belong to them, it belonged to you. And they gave it away without hesitation, all so they could feel included, admired, relevant. This is what evil people do. They don't always attack directly. Sometimes they erode your dignity by handing your soul to others, behind your back. It's psychological theft, and it leaves you feeling exposed, small, and foolish for ever opening up in the first place. But here's what you need to remember. Their decision to misuse your vulnerability says everything about them, and nothing about you. Next time you sense someone fishing for your pain, understand this. Real ones protect what you reveal. Broken ones use it as leverage. If any of this hit close to home, you're not alone. We don't heal by pretending the pain never happened. We heal by seeing it clearly and choosing to rise anyway. Evil doesn't always look like evil. Sometimes it smiles. Sometimes it shares your blood. But clarity, stoic clarity, is what sets you free. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.